All right, welcome back. Bitcoin, we're going to do like a weekly overview. We're going to start off small on the lower time frames, the 4 hour. Then we'll zoom out to the daily and the weekly, look at indicators, argue both sides, bulls and bears, what to be watching for to the upside and the downside. That's what you need to be doing. Nobody knows which way crypto is going, especially Bitcoin, but you want to weigh the evidence on both bulls and bears. Whichever side's got more evidence, that's the side you should be leaning, right? Don't try to fit your narrative or someone else's narrative. Look at the facts in the charts. The price is always king, and anything else is just speculative hearsay, she said, right? So let's get going. Bitcoin on the 4 hour. What do we have here? Well, we've come down here over the past several days. We've had a couple of attempts here, and you see this kind of a green zone and then a yellow line, kind of around 26.7 is the yellow line. That's because of the closing candle. The zone is because of the wicks. And we've had now, several touch points here across multiple time frames, right? Spread out. So the more times a zone or line is hit, that makes it more of a major incidence if it's broken. Okay, so if we come down, it's not likely that we're going to recover immediately. Now, because we're on the 4 hour, that could take a few days, it could take a few weeks, right? I'm not saying that if this is broken on the 4 hour, Bitcoin's going to zero, okay? So don't panic, but this is a big support zone now. This should hold. If it doesn't, then we're going to reevaluate and we'll probably make another video and see what our lower targets are. But until then, why not use that as our support zone? That's exactly what it is. So to the upside, right? Where's our breakout? Well, if you did the same thing on the top side, you can see you really only have a couple test points up in this area. We're trying to make maybe our second or third, arguably, across the time zones here now. So our peak high, our local top here, 28.9. So if you see prices at 29K, we're at fresh local highs. But again, not as major of an issue to the upside as it was to the downside if we come down here. So we held very nicely on the 4 hour with a bounce off of a zone that made sense, right? We hit it a couple times before, made it 3, made it stronger, and now we're moving back up. Look at the moving averages crossing up on the EMA8 and trying to sort out least to greatest, right? That's a sign that you're moving up, right? If nonetheless, you can always remove your price action or your moving averages, right? Make your charts naked as possible and see it, or you can reverse this, right? You can have your EMAs on and remove your prices, right? If you want to see that, right? Wherever your EMAs going, they tell a story. When they're flat, you're not getting much price action. We're in consolidation mode by definition, right? We're not doing anything. When you start to get these crosses to the upside or the downside, you don't even need prices to tell you what's exactly happening here, right? When you have lower moving averages, right? I mean, whoops, let's go ahead and zoom down, right? I mean, look at this, right? When you start crossing, get this bottom part here, right? Look at this, right? This move up, this cross of the EMA8s, right? This lower moving averages crossing the higher moving averages. Now look at this, right? And this paints a little bit bigger picture here. You have your 200, your 100, your 50, 34, 21, 14, and 8, all sorted out, least to greatest. That's a sign of power and strength and coming back into the market. By definition, all your moving averages are sorted out, least to greatest. That's what you want to look for. Go back and look at the start of any bull run. These are the signs, right? Now on the 4 hour, it doesn't really mean a whole lot. This is what we want to see on really the daily chart. So how does the daily chart look? Let's zoom out a little bit. And you can see just recently, back just only a few days ago, right, about March 23rd, 24th, our 100-day EMA crossed the 200. We looked at this as it was happening. I believe I talked about this in one of the last videos I made. Bitcoin historically, only one fake out. That was the pandemic, where the 200 was crossed by the 100, right? The blue crossed the pink, and we did not go into a new bull cycle. That's it. We've only had one time where this faked out and crossed back down. That was the pandemic. Every other time historically since Bitcoin's been around, the 100-day crosses the 200-day upwards after being below it. That's the start, right? So that's a pretty big indicator, if nothing else, right? So we'll see, right? Or could we have another black swan and be another fake out? Of course, right? Not trying to predict the future, just trying to tell you the facts from historically speaking standpoint, right? So Let's no charts. Now try to predict. All right, so from the daily perspective, right, we're still range bound, really. Let's remove our 4-hour kind of charts here, right? Doesn't look that strong at the bottom on the daily chart, right? But I mean, notice all these upticks and these moving averages as well. Let's go back and look at that real quick, right? See these little turns, right? That's a sign of strength. So just be paying attention. It would not surprise me if we're higher here, maybe even by the time this video releases. So right now we are at 28.3. Could we reject in here? Of course. We've done it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've done it 6 times before, right around this zone. So could we reject? Yes. Are the odds there? Not really, because look at the upticks in the moving averages, right? These little turns like this, when they look like they're going to roll over and then reverse, right? There's kind of a move down, and buyers come in, and now we're back up again, right? Nice already today, up 4%. We'll see where we close. We still have 9.5 hours as of right now where we close. If we close anywhere here or higher, it'd be our highest daily close in a long time, right? You gotta, I mean, where the hell did we close a candle this high last time? It was back in our May of 2022. We're approaching a year now since we've closed this high, right? And that's this zone, and we're still at this zone. So it's worth paying attention to. Are we going to break through, or are we going to reject back down, right? So this is certainly an area of interest, right? Right where we are right now. I would say to make some bigger moves, we need to clear all of this, right? We need to clear all that. And, it becomes a little bit more clear on the weekly chart. So let's do that. And then we'll start looking at some indicators. Thanks for watching so long. If you have already, if I have lost you, ta-ta. Let's also look at our Gaussian channel on the green. That's one of my biggest requests on videos is the Gaussian channel updates. So we've been green since a while, right? January, green on the daily, but that's not really what we pay attention to. Too many fake outs on the Gaussian channel for the daily. So the secret tool is the 5-day, right? The 5-day. It has the least amount of fake outs historically speaking, and you have to have 2 check marks. So we're above the Gaussian channel. That's great. That's 1 check mark. You have 50%. Is 50% a great grade in your math class? Probably not. Maybe you got some of those. 50%? No, we have to have 100% to get the confirmation. So we're above the channel. The second confirmation we need is the channel to turn green. How does it do that? It has to start moving up, even a fraction of an inch. It turns green. And historically, when the prices are above the 5-day Gaussian channel, your channel turns green. It's go time. Doesn't mean it doesn't mean you can't go down more, but for the longer term, we're ready to go. Do we have it yet? We're inching that way, but we still have some time ahead. Now, if prices hold up here, that would definitely help this channel turn around. But I still say, and we've talked about this pretty much every video now, we're at maybe early summer, May, June, before this channel could possibly turn green. It's not just going to happen overnight. Now, if prices go to 50K over the next 24 hours, you might get a move. That's not really how it works, right? Slow, methodical move up, right? That's the odds. We're fighting a lot of battles here on the bigger picture, right? And here, look, even at the 5-day level here, I mean, we're looking at years of support and resistance, all the way back to our initial really big sell-off in the bull run, right, to right around 30K, and then again in the summer sell-off, 30K, and then right before our bear market made a big swipe. That's our last line. So this is, now we're back to it. We must flip this. Not with just a wick either, right? We need to flip it and hold this zone. I would say it's more of a zone, right? If we get above 30K and hold that as support, then I don't know how you could possibly argue for the bearish side anymore at that point, right? But let's zoom to the weekly, see if it's any more clear, right? Still, look at all the wicks, right? Wicks, 3 or 4 over here, 3 or 4 here, another handful here, and then here we are, right? So let's turn the channel off. The weekly just takes a little bit long. It can take a little bit longer. So 5 days really the nice sweet spot for the Gaussian channel, just if you're wondering still. Look at the 90-degree turn on the moving average 8, the red, right? Crossing up. Now we're above the 200. Historically speaking, that's a great sign. We're holding above the EMA 100 week moving average, right? Indecision candle last week. Now we have a long lower tail with a green, small lower body. That's another bullish candle, but you can't judge candles until they close. And, that's really not enough either. You need the follow-up candle. So last week, indecisive. Could we have easily gone bears? Could we still go bears? Of course. The candle has not closed. So let's wait, till Sunday, 4 days, 10 hours. When this closes, if we're even this price or higher, it's a bullish sign of things to come still. Bulls are still in charge as of now, right? We're above the 200 week. By definition, you should be leaning a little bit more bullish at this point. If you're under the 200 week on any coin, altcoins included, a little bit more bearish, probably going to be slower to start. So check your altcoins. We can talk more about that. I know not a whole lot of people are interested in Bitcoin, and Bitcoin's obviously not going to be your best returns, but it's the market mover for now. So you should pay attention to your engine. You might like to look at just the car and the fancy car and how fast it goes and all that, but you're not doing shit without the engine. This Bitcoin is the engine of crypto, okay? So pay attention to what it does, and it will tell you what the altcoin market will do, right? So that's why we focus more on Bitcoin. I know it's not as fun or as y'all have your moon bags, and I'm all for that. But understanding the fundamentals of Bitcoin should help you translate over to your altcoin. So that's why we do it so much. So little side note there. Okay, so weekly, let's look at our indicators, see if we can get some follow-ups for the bears or to the bulls. So the RSI, Relative Strength Index, this is how strong your said coin is, your asset, based on the rest of the market. So 66 roughly, right, on the weekly. So check your altcoins. If they're lower than 66, they're weaker than Bitcoin. I think most of them are at this point. If you're stronger than 66, then that's a pretty great altcoin, right? Look historically speaking. Watch Bitcoin's moves. Like go back to January. Bitcoin was at 58. Some altcoins were higher than that, right? Those are going to be the coins with the higher RSI that will likely hold their strength if we go down, and move quicker as we go up, right? So just side note. Burn that in your brain, right? Momentum, your stochastic RSI. We're still cranked out, right? Could we go up? Of course, right? Odds are we go up because of this, right? Now, if this crosses down, what you want to be paying attention to is a cross down into the shaded area. The creators of this index say wait until you get a cross down into it, right? It's not enough to be thinking it's going to go down, because perfect case in point right here, right? This looks like we were rolling over and then bounce right back as we hit. You can't even make that up, right off the top of that box. So wait for the move down to confirm weekly momentum loss, right? And this is a good one to use on the weekly for the bigger picture. So stochastic RSI still cranked off the charts. We have the momentum behind us. You can think of it as for whatever your favorite supercar is, going down 95 with no traffic, your pedal's cranked, right? And until proven otherwise, until you crash or lose control, or, the cops are behind you, your pedal's to the metal, right? That's plain and simple, right? So we have the momentum. We can continue higher based on that, right? Not based on what anyone else is saying. So MFI, what the hell is this? Why would this be different than the RSI? Why not just use the RSI? RSI does not have volume. MFI, the money flow index, includes volume in it. So this would be a good one to pay attention to. If you don't have this one, put it in there. Right, we're in an uptrend, right? The money is coming in, but there's an even more one. You don't want to use just one indicator to get your signals, right? And you certainly don't really use indicators to trade with. They're used more for confirmation. Okay, so and you want all of them saying kind of similar things, and it'd be nice if they're all saying the same thing, but that's not always how it goes. So MFI on an uptrend based on the charts, right? We kind of went down downtrend channel, right? And then when did we break that? Well, we went up, we set our new high, broke out, right? Broke that, came back down, set a higher low. So by definition, downtrend is broken from 2021. We have now put in a high, higher low. We put in a new high, a higher high. So if we come back down, right, just again, work on that trend. Getting a little busy. Let me clear these out. So we're in a new uptrend on MFI. So more money is coming in than we've had in a long time. You got to go all the way back to 2022, early 2022, late 2021, right? The top, right? The past top. Look at this. The money flow index on Bitcoin is almost at bull market tops. Think about that. Okay, we're on an uptrend. We've broken the downtrend. Here we go. Right, the money is coming in, but there is one slight hesitation. Why aren't we exploding yet? Well, you might argue that this is an explosion off of 15K to 28K, right? That's a pretty good move out of Bitcoin, but I think the bigger moves are coming once we start to get this signal. Now, we're going to talk about it in a minute, but let's just go to it because it's too damn exciting not to. This is the one that you need to be watching, the OBV. What the hell is that? On balance volume. So this tracks the on-chain volume for whatever asset you're looking for Bitcoin, right? What do we notice? It's still flat as prices are going up. What you want to be watching for, like a hawk, is if you notice something like this, right? If you see this, some kind of move like this, or like this guy right here, right? You start to see some kind of, rocket ship, bottle rocket, firework move going like that, right? It's not going to happen just overnight, right? This is the weekly picture, but a sharp uptick, right? Something that resembles a move up. And, look at this, right? We're going all the way back to November, and we're still basically just flat, right? I would argue flat. So on balance volume, right? We want to see some bigger volume to confirm our uptrend. If we get this, right, we're probably not only at 30K, but we're probably going to be going higher. And not to predict that what's going to happen, because if you see something like this, right, and we put in lows, right, we're probably going lower, right? So just watch this. It's been very flat. You want to see a breakout, I would say, of either, this top, right, just over 1 million, or, just break this little channel here, right? We've been in this channel since like late October, November, right? So this is what we want to be looking for on a weekly basis to really, give us a step up on the rest of the crypto economy here. So what else? We got the Fisher transform. All right, this is a great one. We looked at this last video. We said not often do we have fake outs, but it is possible. And are we doing that? Right? Could we have another fake out? Yes, but again, going back to 2021, we've been in, you guessed it, a downtrend, which we have now broken. So if we come back down, right, we want to maintain loosely on this kind of uptrend line. Let's draw it a little bit more properly, right? Let's look at this, right? So if we come down any time, and we want to loosely hold, not a huge trend lines are just defining which way you're going, right? It's not necessarily, certainly on indicators, a ipso facto be all end all. So if we do something like this, it's still okay. We've still technically put in a higher low, right? But just as a general rule of thumb, we want to kind of loosely hold this line as we move up here, okay? So making that crystal clear. So if we move down, great, whatever. We want to hold somewhere on this line around that if we get to it. And I think that's likely, given that, I've been pretty crystal clear that I think a new bull run is here. I don't think, lows are coming anytime soon. At least lower lows. We could go to, 18, 20K, but I think that's about it. So we're in an uptrending channel at this point. If we flip this and break out here, that would be an accelerated trend. I would say we're probably at, mid 30s if we're doing that. I don't know if that's the odds, right? We talked about kind of topping out somewhere between 30 to 35K before we have a retest. At the best case, right? We could absolutely retest here. I would almost prefer a move back down first and to remain healthy, right? Because we've moved up so quickly that, looking like this, you have your move up, consolidation, a move up. The odds are more consolidation, right? This is what we were kind of harping on last video, somewhere in this area from like, 25 to 30K. We could absolutely do that for another several weeks. Bulls, you got to see new higher highs sooner before you come back to this low area. Certainly if we come back down, we want to be holding the 200 week right here around 25K. We could go down to even these candles, right? We looked at this before as well. So this would be kind of our last ditch effort to maintain the most bullish momentum. Doesn't mean we're going to zero if we break this, but to maintain our our nice structure trend here. If we come back down, this would be healthy, but we need to hold right in here, right? This breakout is an important level that needs to hold. So if we do, we need to bounce somewhere within a couple weeks, right? It could take some time, right? Bitcoin's not going to make it easy on you. It's not going to, where's your patience, right? As soon as you think it's one way, it's probably going to do the other thing. So just, if we come back down, don't panic. This would be more healthy than not if we come down in the next week or two, right? What would be more unhealthy, in my opinion, is if we kind of, we didn't consolidate enough here yet, right? If we do something like this and we're at 33K this time next week, then we're probably looking at a steeper drop here, right? We're probably going to have to retest this 200 week, this breakout level before, before new highs, right? Before 60K plus is reached. We're going to have to hit this, I would think, right? Just based on structure and TA and everything I know. I would say that we need to retest this at some point. So I would rather do it now than us going to 33K and then having a 25% devil candle, right, come out, right? And that would, no matter how high we go here, I still think we need to test this before moving on. So keep that in mind as well. If we go up and push higher, it's probably best if you at least have a stop loss to start trying to lock in some profits up here if you bought anywhere in the past year or so. Because I like I said, I gotta harp on this because you might forget it, right? We're gonna test this zone more likely than not. I mean, very likely gonna test somewhere in here. Is it healthy to do it, or should we panic, right? You should know that answer. Healthy to do this. Should we bounce from here? Yes, we should bounce from here to remain super healthy. If we don't, then we're at risk of rolling over, going back to, maybe 20K, 18K, right? If this level breaks, we're probably going back, we're probably going back to, I would say, somewhere in, this zone, right? And this is still okay, but this is our last chance to remain bullish for the long term. If we break this, a lot of people think, oh, maybe we'll double bottom. No, because the trend is broken. The downtrend is broken. This would be a new downtrend, which we harped on a lot last video. This will be a start of a new bear market. You don't want back-to-back bear markets. We would go much lower than 15K, 16K. I would argue lower than 12K or 10K even. It would be catastrophic, right? So if we break this, it's not financial advice, but exit everything if we're under 18K, in my opinion, right? We're going much lower. So, and that would be the start of a new bear. We're not coming out of it anytime soon if we go back down here again. So that's a huge warning. And take with that information what you will. Take it with a grain of salt. Take it with concrete lead weight, right? But I don't think it's the odds. I think the worst case scenario, we go back to 18 to 20K to test, and then move back up in our slow, methodical ways. I think it would take kind of a global panic or global black swan event again to do something like this down in this area and start a new bear cycle, or prolonged double bear cycle, something like that. The global economy would just be smashed. I don't know what would happen. It'd be bad stuff, right? Something that probably make the pandemic look like a joke. So having said that, I'll kind of wrap it up there. I know this is kind of a long one. Some people like the long videos. Some people probably like 30-second videos and snapshots. Let me know what you like. Do you like longer videos? Would you rather have 5 1-minute videos? I can do maybe some shorts. I know that would help a lot of people as well. But whether the video takes 20 minutes to film or 30 seconds to film, it still takes like almost an hour, 30 minutes to an hour to wrap it up in YouTube and, polish it up. And that's about as fast as it goes. So why not just give you as much information as possible versus, a bunch of little videos that don't, pack much punch. So hopefully this helps you. If it did, thumbs up, help spread the word. If you want more help like this, want more help navigating the next cycle, the price action, I do many updates every day in our private Telegram. Join us on Patreon there. That's all linked below. Otherwise, follow me on Twitter and our public Telegram. I post occasionally in those places, but you know, for people that are dedicated, that's what Patreon's for. Help them as much as possible. So hope to see you there. Otherwise, I'll see you on the next video. Thanks so much for watching this long. If you have, almost forgot the quote of the day. Preview of the quote of the day. Quote of the day. Where there is great love, there are always wishes. Car of the day. Saw this in person at the Concours d'Elegance a couple weeks ago. Now, the Ferrari Monza SP2, one of the rarer Ferraris, and I've never seen one in person. It's very striking in person. This is actually like a super dark green color. I know it looks black. It's dark green. This is impressive with yellow brakes, custom ordered. The guy that owns it just has a bunch of these cars sent here and shipped. And just pays some guy to, you know, drive them off the truck. I was talking to him about it. What a life, right? Just take my 10 million in cars to this car show and show them off for me. I think I would want to go. So the Ferrari Monza SP2, let me go the other way. We did that one last one. The zoomed in version. Look how wide the front tires are. Like, I mean, that's like almost like Corvette rear wheels. You got like a 11-inch front tire. Insane. Look at the engine bay, all carbon fiber, nice and clean. You could eat off of that one. Everything on this car was like carbon fiber and polished gloss. Absolutely amazing. Ferrari Monza SP2 there. The door actually comes up, you know, vertical door. All this is carbon. Look at the center. The center thing is insane. It's like a divider. You have carbon. All the behind the seat is all carbon fiber. The interior console is all carbon. Yellow stitching. Look how thin the seats are. Racing seats. Super exciting car to look at in person. You can see the seat, the back of the seat is in polished carbon. Look at this design. Look at this engineer right here. Look at this. That is insane. It almost looks like a light. I'm not sure if it lights up or not, but it like this ridge, all interconnecting the front from all the way in the front, all the way to the rear, and then even wraps around. We'll see that in just a second. Just mind blowing. Look at the weave on this carbon, how it's thicker. You might not be able to see it, but exposed carbon on a Ferrari is something to see. It's pretty amazing. And then that same ridge that I was talking about, look, it wraps around into the taillights. This is the taillight here. Mind blowing. This whole rear top, this all comes up, and the whole back goes in there. It's absolutely insane. Quad exhaust. This is again all carbon fiber. Mind blowing to see in person. One of the coolest Ferraris to see. So that's that. And I'll leave you with that before any more rambling, before we get to 30 minutes. I'll see you on the next one. Thanks so much for watching this long. If you have, again, 57 gold stars to you. You deserve it.